Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're talking about Awasi here. As many of you know, Awasi, we actually have 3 properties in South America. This started in Awasi, Atacama was the very first property. And then a few years later, we opened up down in Torres del Paine in the far south of Chile, in Chilean Patagonia. And then we opened up a property in Iguazu Falls in Argentina, which is the newest property. Today, we're just going to be focusing on the Atacama Desert for a few reasons. One, that obviously down in Patagonia, it's the middle of winter, so nobody's around at the moment. And then also Argentina is probably a little bit further away in terms of opening to international visitors than Chile is. And Chile actually already opened. We'll get into that. But so I want to start, since we can't kind of go out on an excursion and explore the Atacama, I first wanted to talk about what is the draw of the Atacama Desert. I think particularly people in North America, where we have large deserts in the Southwest, people are always like, why would I travel to Chile to go to a desert region? And it's because the Atacama Desert of Chile is one of the most unique deserts in the world. This is a desert that is considered the driest desert in the world, areas where they have never recorded any rainfall whatsoever, as you see in this bottom area. But you're contrasted with these views of the Andean mountains, where you have these snow-capped volcanoes that are they're scratching 20,000 feet in the area. And being the driest desert in the world, because they don't receive rainfall, it's an area where there actually is there's abundance of water in the driest of deserts. And a lot of this water is actually coming from underground aquifers. So you have saltwater ponds, geothermal ponds, freshwater ponds that are coming up from underground. And they do get some rainfall throughout the year. Actually, this month of February is often when you would have these kind of sporadic thunderstorms that would drop a lot of rain, and all the wildflowers bloom in the desert. But so you have this dry desert contrasted with the water, which of course attracts a lot of unique wildlife. I mean, this is kind of the last thing people are expecting to see when they come to a desert, is seeing pink flamingos in a high altitude lagoon in the Andes. And then because of the water in this desert, it's been a place that the Atacameño culture, or the native people, the indigenous peoples of the area, has always been an oasis for them, the oasis of San Pedro, the town of San Pedro. So you have an incredible kind of cultural, historical thing in this desert as well, that this has been a stopover place for nomadic people and for advanced civilizations as well coming through the area. So you have wildlife, you have landscape, and then you also have a lot of cultural history of this area. And it's just bonkers things that you find here with the amount of minerals that are coming up and salts coming out of the desert. You have geothermal geysers as well to explore. And it also has one of the clearest night skies in the world. The most advanced astronomical observatory in the world is actually centered just outside of San Pedro de Atacama. So it's a great place for stargazing as well. And then the great thing about Awasi, as many of you know, is Awasi is the only property in this area, and really the only property in South America, that when you book, you have a private guide and you have a private vehicle allocated to every single room. So your excursions are in private. You get to do what you want, when you want, with your guide to explore this vast landscape. And there's so many things to do here that, it's suitable for younger kids. It's suitable for people that are not super active. It's suitable for people that are super active, people that are interested in culture and history, people that are interested in wildlife, people that are interested in adventure. It's just kind of attracts everybody. So you can get out here and explore this area in private, as opposed to in small groups, which most of the other properties in this area offer. So quickly, I'm going to talk about how to get here. So San Pedro de Atacama, you're up here on the border with Bolivia and Argentina, so the very extreme far north of Chile, but it has really good access. So you have direct flights from Santiago, the capital of Chile, up to Calama. It's a 2-hour direct flight. And in a normal year, pre-COVID, during the high season, you would have up to 15, 18 flights a day getting up to Calama. So really easy to get up there. Part of that is because a lot of the mining industry of Chile is centered in Calama. So it's not just a tourist destination. You have out of Calama a lot of the mines. Once you've flown into Calama, you're met by your private guide from Awasi, and it's a quick 90-minute drive, an hour and a half down to the oasis town of San Pedro de Atacama, which is a large fluvial plain valley that sits at about 7,900 feet. And then with the Andes to the east. So once you're there based at Awasi and San Pedro, you have all this area to explore the excursions, down the valley floor, in the salt flats, and up into the mountains and in the high puna. So a great variety of things. It is a year-round destination. The weather there, since it is high, dry desert, I mean, you pretty much have daytime temperatures from, say, 68 to 85 degrees throughout the year. Mostly the seasonality becomes in the winter time. In the low season, May through September, it can get much colder at night, but you still have these bright blue sky days. So wonderful to explore. When we say year-round destination, you see here, of course, I denoted, as we usually do, high season and low season. The only reason that it's a low season is just because there's less people traveling to Chile during May to September, because that being winter in the southern hemisphere, Patagonia, which is the biggest draw for people going to Chile, is closed. So it says that we have the lack of the tourists coming down to Patagonia during May through September. Therefore, we have less people coming up to Atacama because it's a very popular combination to visit both Atacama Desert and Chilean Patagonia in one trip. I'm pointing this out because right now I know that there has just been this massive rush, particularly here in North America, people planning summertime travel, looking for destinations to go, June, July, August, kids are out of school, celebration trips, families getting back together. So I want to plant the seed that this can be a fantastic option to go during those months, to kind of give an alternative, exotic place for people that are not looking for a resort, not looking for a beach destination, but looking for something inspiring, rejuvenating, that they can meet up with other family members and explore. The Atacama is a great option for that. And then that leads you to the next question, of course, is Chile open? So Chile, obviously, we opened up, the country opened up just with a PCR test in kind of mid to late last November. And so we had all of a sudden a flood of bookings. People were coming through December, but then in January, Chile instituted a 10-day mandatory quarantine for people coming in. So bummer, we closed down again. But the reason why I wanted to do this webinar now and kind of plant the seed for the summer period is that this actually just popped up today. Before I did this, I was reading the New York Times. They were talking about how vaccinations, we all know that the vaccination is going to be the thing that's going to open up international travel again. And Chile, even though all of it seems like the focus in Latin America at the moment is in Mexico, it's in Costa Rica, it's in Ecuador, it's in Colombia, countries that are open that only require a negative test or no test at all to go in, Chile is actually leading every other Latin American country in terms of vaccinations. I mean, they're ahead of vaccinations of the US. So, according to this chart, behind Israel, United Arab Emirates, and Britain, Chile's the next one of the fastest vaccination program. So I'm expecting that shortly, maybe within a month or so, we're going to get the news that Chile will reopen again without requiring this 10-day quarantine, which has kind of stymied tourism there for the moment. So great news. So Chile's way ahead of the rest of the world in vaccinations. And so it's giving us a lot of hope that pretty soon Nicholas will be receiving your guest again at Awasi Atacama. So with that, stops my little portion of it. And I'm going to pass it over to Nico. Nico, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you very much, Clark. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Here, I'm gonna just take a quick tour around the property so you can get to see how everything is down here. The town is at the moment really, really quiet, and it's been wonderful in such a way to see how everything develops here. And I was just telling Clark how happy we are that despite the pandemics, everything has been developing in a really good way. Actually, we got a lot of sites that are reopening really soon. And some of the sites that are reopening were sites that been closed for a lot of times, even before the pandemics. They were closed, and now taking the opportunity that this situation gave us, the local communities, they started to think about a new way of doing tourism, and they start to open some new locations which are really, really great to visit. And they're south of the town, and it's beautiful to see. But for what we have here, let me just flip around the camera so I can start show you a little bit about the hotels. And if you have any questions, just put it on the chat so Clark can read them to me. Okay, so let's start. Here we are at the reception of the hotel. Let me just there we are. Okay, we got Richard here. Hello. It's waiting actually for all of you. From here we have the access. One of the cool things about the hotel is that we are really, really close from the main road, which is a couple blocks from here in that direction. And although we are so close to downtown, the hotel itself is really quiet. It's a beautiful place to stay, and you have everything at the grabs of your hand. This is the main entrance. Everything is really green right now. Of course, we have sunshine. It's beautiful. And from here we can access the the common areas of the hotel. Here we have a beautiful fire pit. We light all of the fires in the night, so it's a perfect moment to have a cup of wine, maybe a drink, and then look at a beautiful starry skies during the night. Around here we have Nico, who you will be talking about in a minute, about the excursions available in the area. And everything is really, really open. So we have wide spaces where you can sit and relax, have a cup of wine. This is the restaurant. Again, wide spaces. We got all the COVID protocols available. And one good thing about those protocols is that they don't really show. I mean, we've done it in a way that they don't really show when they're in place. But the hotel is really, really safe. So it's a beautiful place to spend this pandemic without noticing what's going on. Here we have our lovely Catalina.
Hello.
Metro of the restaurant, who is preparing this wonderful
Rica Rica lemonade.
Rica Rica lemonade. Rica Rica is actually this herb here. It grows only here in the desert of Atacama, and this little kind of like little balls I have here, these are the leaves that have been, they're raw, and when you squeeze it, squeeze it, they are minty and spicy at the same time. It's
minty, lemony. It's all nice and refreshing, and it's good for altitude sickness.
Also, yeah, it's good for the altitude sickness. So we give it as a welcome drink with the lemonades, and these lemons also are from the Atacama Desert. This grows in an area near here that's called pica. That's why they're called pica lemons. So, cheers. Really nice. So here we have the restaurant and Mr. Juan Pablo Mardones, our chef.
Hello guys.
Who has also taken all this time to prepare a lot of new dishes for us for these seasons and for the reopening as well. So we're working with a lot of local ingredients. We've been working with local farmers. Actually, you won't believe how much everything grows here when taken care of. So we're working with some local farmers that they're a couple of kilometers from here, and we're using all the leaves they produce, the fruits they produce, and we actually the chef, not me, put everything into the dishes that we have prepared for you, and it's the result is amazing. I hope you get. Thank you, Juan Pablo. I hope you can taste those dishes really soon. Around here we have the pool area. It's a temperate pool, so you can always get into the pool no matter what time of the year. It's also a really nice spot to read a book and to relax after the excursions. One thing that is cool to mention is that all the construction here in Awasi has been inspired by the local constructions by the people of Atacama. So that's why we have the rooms in a rounded shape with a thatch roof and everything constructed with local materials and with local workers as well. So we have a lot of adobe, the stones that come from the river in San Pedro de Atacama, the San Pedro de Atacama River. Also, one cool thing is that the paintings, this is not commercial painting. This is clay in a mixture that we prepare here. And this natural material gives not only the ambience, but the aromas of the villas in combination with the grass that we use in the ceilings and the wood and everything. It's quite an interesting experience. And it's also set up like a little village, the way they built the houses thousands of years ago. We're gonna go right now to one of the rooms. This is the Superior Round Suite, which is, oh, by the way, look at this. This is this is I don't know if you can see it, but this is the flower of the cactus that blooms during the night. You cannot see it right now open, but during the night it opens, and it's a beautiful big white flower. And right now is the time when they do that. So we're coming here to room number 11.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in here. Nico, one thing we didn't say, this is an extremely small property. We only have 12 rooms in total. So this is an extremely small, intimate property.
Correct, and we don't have people from the outside coming to the restaurant, so it's only for the restaurant, and all the facilities are only for the guests staying with us. We don't share it with anyone. So here we are in the room. There's a big bed. This also can be turned into a twin room. And I want you to take a look at the thatch roof. This, for me, a piece of art. This is all made by hand, by the way. It's kind of like woven and then unrolled around the roof. I had the opportunity to see when they were building one of these, and it's amazing. It's amazing the work they put. Again, everything prepared for COVID, but it's not really showing. So you don't feel like you're in an environment that is kind of like a hospital. All the contrary, you don't really see it. It's there, but you don't really see it. So this is a walk-in closet, big spaces, chairs. We have some details here, an espresso machine with tea. We have a small fridge with beverages. Everything is included in the rate, so you don't need to pay for any extras. And if there's anything else you like to have, you can always order it and we can have it for you. Here we have the bathroom. Again, a really big area. With natural lighting coming from the ceiling. And we have a bathtub, ideal for a bath after you come to relax, after you come from the excursions. A big indoor shower. And then from here or from the room, you can access this beautiful patio where you have a table if you'd like to have breakfast or lunch in your own villa outside, you can have it. You have some lunches and also an outdoor shower. So everything is pretty much prepared for you to enjoy. This is, by the way, a beautiful spot to have a drink and see these beautiful skies, especially during the night. There's not much, even though we are in the middle of the town, there's not that much light pollution. So you still get to see a lot of the stars, which is one of my favorite features of San Pedro de Atacama, of course. We have air conditioning unit, really important to mention. And during the winter, our winter, we have heated floors. So, and also because of the materials, again, the grass and the wood and the adobe, the air here in the villa is also it maintains during the day. It doesn't matter if it is winter or summer. You can have a beautiful atmosphere inside of the villa. And from here, going out again, there's a lot of space between the villas. You don't hear anything. We have only two roads that pass us by, one in the front and one here in the back. The one in the back is not in use, so it's really silent. And again, we have light music, we have traditional barbecues. You really get to see, to live the experience of the desert, but also part of the Chilean culture, which is really important for us to show our guests. And with that said, we are coming to the end of the tour. Yes.
Can we see the pool? I think you just walked by the pool, but we didn't see the
yes,
pool.
Of course.
Yeah. And I just want to point out, I think one of the most amazing things about this property when you're walking around is that, you know, when the architect or when they built this, the focus was on using local materials, and not just, so when you're here, it's like you said, collected river rock from the rivers, using adobe, using thatch. It's like
yes.
Everything is traditional natural materials, and even the colors that are dyed of the textiles are from collected berries and plants. So it has this wonderful thing that you're out exploring during the day of the Atacama Desert. And then when you walk back in this hotel, yeah, you're back home in this cozy environment, but you still feel like you're out in the desert. You know, it's like there's almost this, you know, we talk about indoor, outdoor often in architecture, but this is really the textures, the smells of these materials. You know, everything about it is just so pleasing to the eye and to all of your senses when you're at the property itself, because it's so natural. I mean, it truly has a sense of place rather than being, you know, this architectural statement with, you know, big glass and steel and everything. This is, you've come here to experience the Atacama Desert, so the experience of the property itself encapsulates that.
That's right. Actually, this piece is, let me see if you can see it from here. This pieces of wood that you see here and that is used as a column is actually are those trees that you can see over there. This is it's called chañar. It's a local tree that grows only in the desert. And it has this characteristic of a really hard wood, but also it gives a fruit that it's edible and it tastes like caramel. And we use it here. The chef used it here to, let me see if I can show you one of the fruits, but the chef used it a lot here, and he makes a creme brulee here. You can see how much of the fruit there is. And it's this fruit here, like a little peach. And again, it tastes like caramel, and the chef used it here to make a creme brulee out of this, which is really, really popular in between the guests. And it's quite an experience. You have to try, you have to come to try it. And that'll cover pretty much of the hotel. We have, again, Nico here, who has a lot of information to share with us about the excursions and the activities that you can do in the area, which are a lot. Again, as you mentioned before, there's a lot of wildlife. There are a lot of beautiful landscapes, and they change during the day a lot. So it's not the same landscape you see in the morning as the one you see at sunset time and the one you see during the night.
Is Nico going to share a little presentation with us about excursions, or?
Yes, he is.
Okay, I'm just trying to find him to make him a panelist so he can share the screen, but I don't see his name in the attendees list. Have Nico raise his hand on that little button that says raise your hand so I can see how he signed in.
Can you just, there he has raising his hand.
Have him do it again.
One more time, please.
I think he might be as a panelist. Let me see here. Let's see. Did you get that there, Nico?
Yes,
Yes.
he
perfect.
is. Okay, I'm gonna mute my mic. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
I'm gonna be around here, but thank you, everyone, for joining me in this little tour. I will pass on now on to Nico so he can show you everything.
Okay. Nico.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello, Clark. Cool.
Yep.
So let me. Can you see my screen? I'm gonna share my screen right there. Okay. So cool. Let me introduce myself. I'm Nick. I'm the head guy here in San Pedro in Awasi, Atacama. I'm born in a small mining town that is called Chuquicamata. That is 1 hour away from here, from San Pedro, Atacama. I studied geology here in Chile and also in Argentina. And I've been working in tourism for almost like 8 years. And I've been working for Awasi for 6 years. And let me tell you, that it's been one of the most challenging things that that I have ever done in tourism. So what we do here? Well, we try to create a memorable experience. And well, there's not a proper formula for creating a memorable experience, but I know there's a couple of key factors, and one of them is the way that we manage the time. Other factor is really important is how we manage what the guest is expecting from the different places, and the most key factor, the most important factor is going to be empathy. Try to understand what the guests want and try to figure out a way to realize, to concrete that idea that he has on his head about his adventure. But let me ask you something. Probably, what comes to mind when you're thinking in a desert? Probably you're going to get images that are going to be kind of like this one, like what you can find in a Sahara Desert or Mojave Desert, endless sand dunes. But Atacama Desert is something that is really, really unique. It's an area that is really, really dynamic. Landscape change. You drive at 30 minutes in every single direction, and the landscape is going to be completely different. It's amazing what you can do here. You have so many alternatives to do different kind of activities, and it's really, really unique place. It's amazing. So where we are located? Well, if you look on the left side, you're going to find a satellite picture, and right here you're going to find the Chile, this long, skinny country. But in the brownish areas is where you're going to find the Atacama Desert. The Atacama Desert is the longest desert that we have on the planet. Has almost like a 2,600 kilometers long. And right here on this red square that you find on the satellite image, you're going to find San Pedro de Atacama. On the right side, you're going to find a zoom of the area. This is the region of Antofagasta. Right here is the capital of the region, Antofagasta, also named it. And right here you have Calama. Calama is where where the airport is. So all the flights arrive here. And then when we pick up our guests, we pick up right here in Calama, and then we drive 1 hour for reaching San Pedro de Atacama. In the town is where you're going to find the hotel. It's only 2 blocks away from. It's only 2 blocks away from the main street. And well, how we create this memorable experience? Well, it's really important the information that we receive from the guests. So every time that a guest book the hotel, we send a small quiz with so we can get a little bit of information. In that way, we can assign the proper guide in base of the interest or the kind of activities they wanna do. We have one private guide for every single room, but also we have 4-wheel drive vehicles, and the 4-wheel drive vehicles allowed us to get to the different places, that we have right here and visit the Atacama Desert in a completely different way, to reach far places, areas that not so many people know about this area. So it's really, really cool. So what we do is when the guests arrive here to the hotel, we discuss about what they want to do. We present a couple of maps, and discuss about the different alternatives that we can do here. So we usually, the first days, because of the altitude here, we prepare, excursions that are going to be like a half-day excursion for the first day, and then we can do like a full-day excursion. And one of the toughest part of this area is try to manage the altitude. We are located at 2,400 meters above the sea level, and then we reach some places we can reach over 4,000, and even if we climb a volcano, we can reach 5,600 meters above the sea level. So the way to manage the altitude is really, really important. So planning the excursion is a key factor here. So once we select a guide for the guest, the guy, we have different kind of guides, guys that are going to specialize in different areas, guys that are going to specialize for example, doing horseback riding, guys that are going to specialize for taking photographs, guys that are specialized doing hiking, mountaineering, so we have plenty of activities that we can do in the different areas. And when we discuss about the planning, planification of the different excursions, we divided the area in 4 zones. So on the right side, you have a map of the area. Right there, you have the triple border between Argentina, Bolivia, and right here, Chile. And right there, you can see San Pedro de Atacama. That's where we are located. So we divided the area in four zones, 4 areas, and depending on the altitude and also depending on how far they're going to be. So the first area that we have right here is the area A, that is the Atacama Salt Flat. It's the closest area. It's the area where we can get in touch with the native community. Then we have another area that is the brownish that you have right here. That is where you can find all the canyons, There's going to be more humidity, so more vegetation, more wildlife. And then we have my favorite area, that is the high plateau. In the high plateau, it's amazing the kind of colors that you can find. You're really close to the Andes, And then the last area that we have right here is the zone D, and that is where we go to climb volcanoes. So let me show you a couple of pictures of the different areas, explain a little bit about what you can find and the kind of activities we can do. So let's start with the area A, zone A, the salt flat is going to be around 2,100 meters above the sea level until 2,700 meters. And just like I said, right here, you can get in touch with the native community. It's an area that has a lot of landscape. There's so many places that are really close and they're really, really beautiful. For instance, in this picture that you have right here, that is just the entrance of San Pedro de Atacama. Is when you are arriving, you're seeing this landscape. It's amazing. This is the Salt Range. And in these areas where you can find the Moon Valley. In the Moon Valley, you can do different activities like a hike, riding bicycles. This picture also is from the Salt Range, this information, but it's not the National Reserve, of where you can find Moon Valley. This is a little bit farther, but it's a place that I really love because you can move freely. I mean, you can walk in any place, there's not going to be a proper path, so you can actually explore and get to see what geology can offer and what you can see right there. It's amazing, the landscape that you can find. Sometimes we go really early in the morning for seeing the sunrise. Sometimes we go in the middle of the day. You can find different kind of really cool things that you're not expecting to find. For instance, water in an area is completely dry. The interesting thing about this stream is it's going to be a stream that has really salty water. In this picture, you can see the Andes Range in the background, with snow, but also you have this white right here. There's actually salt growing, and sometimes you can get so close to it. Actually, you can see how the crystals are precipitating and growing in the water. So that's really, really cool, really, really amazing. This is an area on the Moon Valley that we call Cari. It's one of my favorite hikes that you can find there. It's a place that is only allowed 4 hotels to visit, and it's amazing what you can find right there. Other thing that we do is we manage so well every time that we go to the places, we try to not see more people there, so we can really enjoy everything the proper way. Feel the wind. It's so it's really, really, really incredible. Also in this area, you can do horseback riding. This is a Marsh Valley or Death Valley. It's amazing, riding the horses in the sand dunes, something that not so many people expecting to find there. In this image, you can also find what we call Catarpe Valley. And right here is where native people develop the agriculture. So you can see how they're working, and right there, you also, in this picture, you can see the San Pedro River. It's pretty, pretty cool, the place. And you can realize, the different landscape, the different areas. It's incredible. I mean, it has so much to offer, and this is just the zone A. Another hike that you can do in the area of the Salt Range, in the Moon Valley. And for instance, you can get in touch with the native community. You can also see what they used to do. Right here, you have an image of constructions. This is a fort that is only 10 minutes away from the hotel. So it's really, really close. And you can find so much evidence about what the culture that developed here did. The culture that developed here is, we call it Atacameños. When the Spanish people are right here, they used to call it Los Atacama. But they prefer to be called Licalantay. And it's a culture that is really, really rich. They managed to actually live in the driest desert on the planet. Right here, you have another image of an area that is really close to Rio Salado. And it's really, really beautiful. We have a hike there that is it's really incredible, where you can walk in the water, and sometimes this river gets with gets like inside of a canyon, with the walls really high. So it's really, really cool walking there. Take a look at this image. Right there, you have a beautiful, beautiful lagoon that is in the Atacama Salt Flat. When there's no wind, you can get the reflection of the Andes on the water. Sometimes you can even see flamingos there. It's amazing. Also, in the area, you can find evidence of the culture when they were used to trade things with other cultures that are around here to an area that is Argentina, with towns of people from Bolivia. And so you have a lot of rock art that are developed in the area. It's incredible, and you can see so many really weird things here. It's incredible. Also, we can visit different villages. Not so many people go to those villages because there's no tourism, but it's a good way to get in contact with the native community and realize what they've done here. It's really, really interesting. Sometimes you can have a beautiful sunset. I remember this couple stay like 2 years ago, and they didn't have too much time, for spending here in San Pedro de Atacama. But we tried to do something really special for them. And what we managed to do is we actually do a wine tasting in near to an area that is closer to the Sol Range. And even the sommelier went there, for doing this wine tasting. It was something that they were not expecting to do that. It wasn't part of the plan. Sometimes you can get beautiful, beautiful sunsets. Right there you have this volcano that is called Ligancabur. It's the main signature of the area. And you can see it for almost every single excursion that you do. You're going to see that beautiful volcano. It's like Mount Fuji. Also in these areas where we do stargazing. When we do stargazing, this is the only regular excursion, but it's only for guests from the hotel. So there's going to be a maximum of 6 people, and our guide Pablo is going to show you the sky. And we have one of the clearest sky on the planet. So it's amazing what you can see here. And also Pablo knows so much about the way that the native culture used to see the way they used to see the sky. They have a different way to see the sky. They're not just concentrated on the bright spot, on the stars. They're also like to concentrate and see the sky, looking through the dark areas on the sky. For instance, in this image right here, you can see there is a really dark spot right here, and right there is what they call the Llama constellation. So, for instance, in this picture, you can see right there the eye of the llama. This is the neck of the llama, and right here the back and the legs of the llama. It's really cool when Pablo is telling about the different histories and what the native people believe here in base of the sky. It's really, really cool. Beautiful sunset.
Hey,
Really,
Nico.
really beautiful. Go ahead.
Sorry, can I interrupt? I just wanted 2 questions. People popped up. One was about like the flamingos that they saw the pictures of in the lagoon. Are the flamingos come through there seasonally, or do you find flamingos year round?
Well, you can find flamingos all year round, but it's going to depend on the areas. In summertime, in summertime you're going to find it, for instance, in the high plateau, in high altitude. But in winter, you're going to find it in lowest areas, in the Atacama Sulfate. So you can see flamingos and different kinds of flamingos here in San Pedro. We have 4 kinds of flamingos here. Yep, year round.
Okay, great. And then the other question was about the stargazing in the observatory. I know people often are like, or the question was asked, do you have to make plans in advance reservations for the observatory? And I think to answer this, one, Awasi, we have our own observatory outside of the property, and our own telescope. So we have our own stargazing spot. But I think maybe, Sarah, you were asking about like going to the main, what's the big advanced observatory there? I don't even think that they take visitors, do they? Alma?
Well,
Alma.
Yeah. We have Alma right here, and it's the biggest observatory we have on the planet right now. But well, it's located at 5,000 meters above the sea level. So it's a radio telescope. They have antennas. And if you want to visit, they're going to bring you only to the base camp. And it's going to be only people from Alma that's going to bring you there. So you have to book in advance, in at least 2 or 3 months in advance. for seeing just the computers because they're going to bring you to the base camp, not to the antennas. So you're not going to see like through a telescope. They're going to show you a couple of images. Tell you a little about the story of Alma, but it's not going to be like what we do, where we have our own telescope and we show the sky, through a telescope. So, but either way, you can book it. It's really, really cool. Yeah.
Perfect. But so for our excursion, that's all of the excursions are included for our guests. They're included in the rates, and you have your private guide. So in terms of the stargazing, we have a specialist that does the nighttime watch. So it's generally if clients are interested in doing a stargazing during their stay, then you'll coordinate with your guide, and a guide will coordinate then with the specialist that we have for an evening, which night of the stay to do that for the guests specifically.
Yeah, and if the guests they wanna just go outside, in the desert to just see the stars, not through a telescope, we also can do it. We arrange a proper time for leaving the hotel, and we drive a little bit far from the light pollution. I mean, there's not too much light pollution here, but we drive a little bit farther from the town, so we can see the sky also with the naked eye. It's really, really cool. Yeah, and sometimes we also
Perfect.
do like go to take pictures of the Milky Way, and so we do a really scenery area. We set up the cameras, and start shooting just for getting the picture of the Milky Way, So it's really, really cool. Mhm.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let me show you a little bit about the area that we call the canyons, the Zone B, and this area is going to have more humidity. So right here, you're going to find more vegetation. There's going to be more wildlife, a lot of ravines with really, really beautiful landscape. A lot of cacti. There's even hot springs here that we can go there. You can see different wildlife, like for instance, guanacos. You can find llamas here. There's an area where you can see hills of different colors. We call Rainbow Valley. For taking pictures, that place is amazing. Doing in that place is really cool, and see the different colors that the geology offers here is incredible. There's also small villages here, like for instance, this one, Rio Grande. We have different heights here. It's really, really cool, the place. And then we have the Zone C. Zone C is what I said that is my favorite one, the high plateau. You can find a lot of lagoons there. You're closer to the volcanoes. A lot of really, really beautiful colors there. It's incredible. Also, you can find villages that are going to be over 4,000 meters above the sea level. And not so many people visit these places. I think we're, for instance, Cupo. We're the only ones that are going to that village. You can find flamingos over 4,000 meters above the sea level in the lagoons. Sometimes you're going to find them with snow. Riding bicycles in the area is incredible. With landscape, they're going to be quite unique. Beautiful lagoons. You can see the volcanoes at the same. It's going to be at the same level that you are. It's something unique. That feeling is incredible. Beautiful, beautiful. You can find also active volcanoes on the area. You can see a lot of the activity of the volcanoes there. Sometimes you're going to have beautiful lunch or sunrise there, breakfast there, it's quite unique. It's quite unique. A lot of colors on the wetlands, a lot of wildlife. You can find, for instance, geese. People are expecting to find that. Rodents like vizcachas, you can find vicuñas. Vicuñas is an animal that is from the family of the camels, from the same family of llamas, and it's really, really beautiful. It's full of them. Sometimes we go to the geysers to see the activity, with, seeing the water boiling, the geysers throwing water, spitting out water. And most of the time when people go there, it's going to be completely crowded. What we do in Awasi, we go to the places when it's crowded, but we prefer that it's crowded with wildlife, not people. And that way we can get amazing pictures. You can find coots on the area also. Take a look at that picture. You can find a llama right there with a geyser, with all activity. But most of the people, when they visit San Pedro de Atacama and they're not staying with Awasi, they're going to see this place full of people, crowded. But once again, we avoid that. We know when it's going to be the perfect time for going there, when we're going to be able to really, really enjoy nature in the best way possible. Sometimes we're going to have amazing breakfast on the area. And take a look at the colors just on the area of the geysers. Incredible. Right here, you can see the activity, water boiling there. You can get really close. Sometimes you can even smell the sulfur there, So it's really, really cool. Take a look at the colors. Yeah, of the wetlands. It's incredible. This is my favorite place. It's Tarafalpat. It's an area that is, it's like a being in another planet. Huge towers of rock in the middle of nowhere. That has been eroded by wind. Erosion by wind and water. It's incredible. Huge, huge areas. It's amazing how dynamic the whole place is. Some ways, San Pedro de Atacama has something for everybody. Take a look right there, 4,000 meters, and you can find flamingos. It's incredible. It's amazing, this place. It's something, it's so big. There's still places that I don't know. And we have been using this time of COVID for exploring and open new routes, do new hikes, visit new places. And we discovered quite a beautiful places right now. So we're going to start increasing the amount of excursion that we can do. So it's going to be really cool. This is the proper way to enjoy the landscape when you're completely alone and you can see the whole thing that is just for you. It's incredible. It's amazing. Most of the pictures that you're seeing right here, I took it along the excursions that I've been working here in Awasi. This is a really cool picture because right there you can find Maya. She came with her parents, and I remember when we were planning the excursions, we set up all the maps and we give this llama right there to Maya. And so we brought it to every single excursion and we start taking pictures, in a perspective way so you can see the llama bigger. And she named the llama Glama de Llama, I remember that. And what happened with Maya is that I received an email a year later, and they explained me that they were celebrating Halloween. Cool thing about that is that was so impressive the whole trip for Maya that she decided to wear a costume of a llama for Halloween. So they sent me this picture. It's really, really cool. It's incredible the way that you can get in touch with the guests. I think when you have a private guide, it's going to be the best way to understand what they want to do, and try to create a really good connection. It's amazing, the landscape. And the last zone that we visit that also is one of my favorite ones is going to be Sondi, where we go to climb volcanoes. It's incredible the way that you can do mountaineering here. It's something that the guests are not expecting to do for climbing a volcano that you can reach the summit that is going to be at 5,600 meters. And it's quite unique because, for instance, we have a volcano here that is called Toco. And when you go to climb Toco volcano, you leave the hotel here around 8 in the morning. So you have your breakfast right here. You go to the volcano, climb, reach the summit, get a beautiful view of the whole area. And then when you return to have lunch in the hotel. So, I mean, it's something that you do in a day. For reaching that altitude in other places, it's going to take 1 or 2 days. It's incredible. It's amazing what you can do. And if you're thinking how many excursions we have, I make a list for planning for 21 days, So you can do every single day, 2 half-day excursions or 1 full day, and you can spend 21 days visiting different places. And I have to add more the more excursions the places that we do scouting, so places that we're going to open for the next season.
Yeah, Nicholas, this is good because someone was asking as well. Actually, a few people have chimed in and asked what's a suggested length of stay. And I mean, this picture, I think, really encapsulated that. You can come to the Atacama Desert if people want to come for a bit of rest and relaxation and a bit of excursion. Come for 2-3 nights, you can do that. I think 2 nights is the minimum, but if you're coming up for just 2 nights, you're not even scratching the scratch of the surface of what is available in the Atacama area. I would say our average stay, people are coming and spending 4 nights is normal. People that are combining obviously Atacama and they're going down to Patagonia and going to Rapa Nui or Easter Island or the wine valleys of Chile, obviously they can't spend as long, but we do have quite a large segment of guests that are coming just to come to the Atacama Desert, and they're spending from 5 to 7 nights just as that one destination itself. I mean, there's so much to do in this area, and the fact that you have your private guide and vehicle just really opens up the options for exploration. So that was fantastic. Thanks for that, Nico, and incredible pictures as always that you have. And I think that's it. I know we're already past our 45-minute mark, but if anybody has any other questions or comments to make, please let us know. You can type them in the chat pane. And if not, I am going to follow up with everybody with a recording of this. You can go back to reference it, and also send you, our sales and marketing documents for the property. And of course, as I said, looking at the vaccination rate or advancement that's happening in Chile, we're hoping to hear news soon of them dropping the quarantine upon arrival for international guests. And I will let you know as soon as that happens. And we look forward to having your guests there. And also, since that will happen and it will be kind of during our low season, we have really good promotions during those May through September periods. So keep this front of mind for guests that are looking for a very socially distanced experience somewhere that is going to appeal to, maybe a family or a couple that has very different interests. The Atacama, I don't know who it wouldn't amaze going here. Okay, so I think we just pretty much answered most of the questions during the presentation. I don't see any more. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to keep these going. I'm going to plan one for Iguazu Falls soon, maybe in the next few weeks, and more of these virtual visits to come. So just getting a lot of thanks and kudos. That was fantastic from everybody. Okay, Nico, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Klaus. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Aye.
Take care. Bye-bye.